welcome to the Peculiar Ones podcast. My name is Mark Campbell. I am so excited that you are tuning in today for many reasons. I want to let you all know that I am having a ball introducing you to my friends and the people that I'm meeting who are doing a few things differently, living this thing called life beautifully and not the normal way. We are calling it peculiar. Actually, that's the definition of peculiar. We're not calling it that. And so I'm gathering these folks from all walks of life, young and old. And today we went on a little road trip. Actually, it was about a week ago, but you're looking at it today. And we went to my alma mater, Hayward High in Hayward, California, in the locker room of the gym. And we interviewed my dear friend, Coach Justin Redemer. And man, is he changing a community and a culture in Hayward through football and through the way he's living. And I want to blow the podcast, but I want to let you know that I'm just learning how to do this thing. And I got a text as I'm filming it in the locker room, and it shuts the camera off. So about 3 minutes into it, you're going to see me and Justin just frozen, staring at each other for like 20 more minutes. So that's it. That's on YouTube. The podcast is not affected by that whatsoever. If you could like it, subscribe, and brand new to the tribalway.org website is a way that you can donate to this endeavor online real easily. We sure do appreciate your support any way you can give it to us, even with just encouragement. And I hate to even put the word just in front of encouragement because encouragement is a powerful, powerful thing. So kick back, enjoy part one of a two-parter, another two-parter. These things are so good that I just can't stop it. And I just want to start and keep developing what they're saying. And I'm just curious on what makes people do peculiar things. And you're going to start to see a thread. I can already see some threads. And so anyway, kick back, enjoy part one of a two-parter with Coach Justin Redemer. Welcome to the Peculiar Ones podcast with my dear friend, Coach Redemer. And he's a larger man than I am, so I'm going to sit here. We are in the Hayward High. Where are we?
We are in the Hayward High locker room, the boys' locker room specifically, not the girls. Yeah, let's just make that clear from the jump.
This is a historical locker room. How come?
A lot of great athletes came through here. Andre Ward, undefeated champion. Yep, Andre Ward, Jack Del Rio, Eddie House. Jeff Barnes, list goes on. Don Wakamatsu, right? Some great athletes came through these.
Can you
halls.
Can you imagine the conversations that took place in this locker room?
Should we imagine those conversations?
Yes, absolutely. About producing men.
Yes.
And going through conflict.
Yep.
And they didn't play home games here though, so there would have been no home like halftime exhortation speeches here because you guys were playing on Sunset.
Yeah, sure. But all the conversations in the room that we're sitting in, mm-hmm. Coach Clark would have been in here. Coach Rankin would have been in here. And probably Coach, who was the baseball coach? I forget the name.
Oh, who was that
Starts
guy?
with a B, I think.
Rankin was my PE coach.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, but just coming in here and bringing the guys in, and the captains probably had meetings in here with the coaches, and they probably used to watch film in here, and this is where it all happened.
And I'm literally parked 2 parking stalls over from where I was arrested in 1982.
Hey.
Unbelievable.
Welcome home.
Welcome home. This is my alma mater.
This is your alma mater.
It's
That's right.
Unbelievable. And we did the graduation ceremony down on the field, the new field now, but it wasn't new, of course.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where we did the graduations.
Yeah, very nice.
Yeah, it was. So welcome to the Peculiar Ones, Justin. We are exploring the similarities between the peculiar people that I meet that are embracing the fact that they are masterpieces doing great things on the planet, whether it be professionally, socially, spiritually. And you are on the top of my list as someone who's figured out a few things on how to embrace the way you were created and using it, parlaying it for multiple great works on the planet, great things. And just a little background. We were just doing a little sound check and we were laughing. You live in a 1,000 square foot house right up the street.
Right up the street, less than half a mile.
You are 6 people in the house.
6 of us. Yeah, I've got my wife, Julia, and then I've got 3 boys, Elijah, Caleb, and Joshua. They're 11, 9, and 7. My daughter, Hannah.
Yeah. And now a cat.
And we had a cat, Sierra. We've had her for 13 years, and we just decided, there's too much room in that house, so we just got a puppy. Because, you just got to live. You only live once, Mark.
You only live once.
Yeah.
How long? Now, and you're the football coach. How long?
I've been the coach here for 9 years.
9 years.
9 years.
And you teach English.
I do.
First peculiar thing. Really peculiar. Because I took English from Coach Clark.
Oh, okay.
He was my English teacher. And it was right behind the snack bar.
Was he an English teacher?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Well, I don't know for how long, but
Sure,
the year.
sure.
Because when I was in Hayward High, I told you this. 1 year of math.
Yeah.
No. 2 years of math. 1 year of English. 1 foreign language. And 4 years of history.
I tell people that story,
Yeah.
and they look at me like they tell me I'm lying.
It's
I'm
not
like,
a story.
No, it's
I graduated at Christmas break with a B+ average. And I took 7 periods of wood shop my junior year. So I made furniture. I'm sincere.
Hey, yeah.
And then they started the minimum proficiency exit thing the year after.
Mm-hmm.
That year. That's why they graduated some of us at Christmas, because they wanted us to graduate.
That's fantastic.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
No more though. No more. Now it's 3 years of math,
Yeah.
4 years of English.
Yeah.
No one's getting out alive.
No. But you teach English here. We are in. Would you call this an inner city school?
It's a blue collar urban school.
Yeah, Hayward High.
Yeah, Hayward High.
What's the demographics?
About 51% Latino.
About 51%.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, about 20-something% African American. About another 15% Asian Polynesian mixture, and then about 10% white.
And how many students?
1,500.
15. That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
I thought
Small
it was
school.
like 2,500, 3,000.
No. It was for a while there, but then this demographic changed, and all the people with young families moved out. Yeah, to Sacramento or Brentwood out there.
Which is the second peculiar thing. We'll get to that.
Okay.
So you teach English at a very high. I'm going to call it teach up. Is that a term? You teach up. You don't bring things down. What are you teaching currently?
So I mean, I think that even though I teach what's called English P, which is like the lowest level of English that we provide. And I try and teach my 12th graders Aristotle, Socrates, Dante.
These are 12th graders.
Yeah. I mean, I believe that they can understand these things.
Sure,
there
they can.
These truths that are transcendent across time and space.
Right. So they read Aristotle.
Oh yeah. Nicomachean Ethics. Yeah. We read The Republic by Plato. We read Gorgias. We read excerpts from the Bible, Soren Kierkegaard, W.B. Du Bois. Yeah.
Are these advanced students or just 12th graders?
Just 12th graders.
Wow.
Yeah, most of them are in ROP. They're doing half-time in like a trade program, and then the other half they're taking 3 academic classes at Hayward High.
This school had a fantastic ROP program when I was here.
I know.
Is it coming back?
No, they moved everything off-site. That's the
Well, a lot of it was. We'd have to go down to Chabot.
Okay.
We'd go down to Auto. We would paint cars. All of the metal, wood. That was it. There was no plastics. Metal. Bret Hart had plastics.
Really?
Real plastics. It was
Wow.
like amazing. They stopped that when everybody started making bongs.
Exactly. That's what I'd say. It's crazy.
Little rings, and then we drill holes in them.
Oh,
But
geez.
but anyway, so ROP was fantastic. So these students, are they afraid of your class?
Oh no, I think they enjoy it.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
of course they
yeah.
enjoy it. But is it like, I mean,
No,
that
I
sounds
think
like heady stuff.
I think it's the material's pretty difficult. I try not to make the work associated with it too daunting. And I change my kind of last year. I gave an assignment that was pretty intense, and I got quite a number of them didn't turn it in, and then they were struggling with it. So I try and fix the assignment to kind of match the course, but I think they look forward to it. I think they enjoy it. I try and make the stories come alive.
Sure.
So that they see themselves in the stories. And a lot of the stories are about like being I think the first semester would be like, how do you become the hero of your own story? Right.
Really?
Yeah. Because that's what we're reading about, all these heroes. Like,
Right.
so how do you become the
Right.
hero of your own story?
Right.
And then the second semester becomes more of like a philosophical, like how to go about figuring out how to live well in the world. So we read a lot of, like I said, Plato and Aristotle and Dante, that kind of stuff.
Bro, if you were not that Clark was bad. I was just afraid of him with his pants and his button flap and his shorts and all that. Not like Benavides. It wasn't
Sure.
at that level.
Benavides, he was the baseball coach.
Was he really?
Yes, he
No,
was.
he was not.
Yes,
Not
he
in my
was.
era.
Oh,
No,
okay.
no. He was at Sunset.
Oh, okay.
He went
Yeah,
from Strobridge to Sunset. then to
Gotcha.
Mount Eden. Was he here for a tenure?
Oh, Benavides. Oh, the
Benavides.
basketball coach. Yeah, he's still here. He'll be here for varsity practice later.
Today?
Yeah, he'll sit.
No!
He will. He'll sit and watch the varsity.
What time?
Not till later. Probably like 7.
Oh, I love that. He was my favorite, the first man to ever believe in me. You've heard the story.
Yeah. That was Benavides?
That was Benavides. 7th
Oh.
grade, Strobridge.
I see him all the time.
Tell him, Mark Campbell. He won't remember me. He didn't remember me when I told him the story. But it changed my life. But that's another story for a different time. So that's the influence you coaches and you teachers have over people, because we spend so much time with you. And when we gain respect, something happens.
Yeah.
Something happens. And especially for people that don't come from a good family nucleus.
Yeah. Well, you know about that. Yeah.
But I wish you would have been my teacher here. All my teachers here, except for the drama teacher, were just at the end of their tenure, let's say that, and kind of bouncing, everything had changed. Man, it was 80, 81, 80, 79, and it was all kinds of, I'm not bagging on them, but culture was upside down.
Yeah, it was a tough place.
Yeah. And so the strong survive.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I had actually never been in this locker room.
Are you serious?
And I took 2 years of PE.
You didn't dress?
No.
You wouldn't come in?
No.
Yeah.
We played basketball.
It would have gone poorly for you.
It might have been. It was just I didn't go to one dance, bro. It was an intimidating environment, and I looked like an 11-year-old. Well, that's the deal. It's true. I graduated in 82. I came back for 83 because I had a little pharmaceutical thing on the side here, and I realized day one it was bad for business for me to graduate, so I came back.
Wow.
And that's when I got arrested.
Yeah.
Later in that deal,
Yeah.
but I looked like a 10-year-old. No, heck no, I'm not coming in here to the locker room with Jack Del Rio and all those guys.
Yeah, some big dudes.
Big dude. I fell down the stairs in front of where I parked on the first day of school, my freshman year, in front of those bros, leaving practice, right here. I was the kid for 2 years that fell down the stairs. Hey, there's that kid that fell down the stairs. You know the stairs going down the parking lot?
Yeah, I do.
Long.
I do. Yeah, I mean, the one thing about Hayward I'll say is that it takes a tough person to make it out, but if you make it out, you're a tough person.
I leaned on comedy.
Yeah.
And I was a good runner.
Yeah.
I ran from situations.
Hey, play to your strengths, bro. Play to your strengths. That's what it is. That's right.
Well, it's really, what do you think is the greatest benefit that you've seen from teaching those philosophical books to this generation?
I think that oftentimes our educational system and a lot of their experience is that, this is like a new place and a new world, and they, through these texts, they see a connection back to like the beginning of time. I tell them all the time, these are like cultures that don't exist anymore. They speak languages no one could understand, and yet like the truths that we see evidenced in them are the same truths that you'll see in your life today, right? We read Gilgamesh, and he's pouring out an offering, right? And like out of the drink cup before he drinks. And I said, someone over off B Street just walked out of a liquor store and did the same thing with their 40 of Old English. You know what I mean? Like they poured out a little offering before they took their first drink, and it resonates, right? Like they get these themes that run throughout time.
Wow.
Yeah.
I have so many questions. What's your favorite philosophical book, and why? Or philosopher?
A favorite? I mean, those are
big, too big.
Those are big questions. I mean, my favorite philosophical book is probably going to be, I mean, the one I enjoy reading the most is the Dialogues of Plato. Right? I love Plato.
Okay.
Right. I love Socrates. I love his style, which is it's this meandering style. It's like walking through a path in the woods, right? You get off course, you're going to get lost, but if you stay with it, you'll get to kind of some great vista and some view of reality. So
now we don't get too biblical here on the peculiar ones, but we always it's good to reference these ancient stories and truths we find in Scripture and pair them with what we're seeing in peculiar situations or peculiar people. How do you think that those two guys pair with some of the weaving or philosophers we find or thinkers we find in Scripture?
Well, I mean, a lot of my class is pulled from the Bible.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Really?
I mean, because you can't understand Western philosophy without understanding the Bible, right? You can't even understand the story of the West without understanding the Bible. You can't understand why you are an American with the vision of reality that you have unless you understand the Bible, right? Because they were all building off of it. Or if they weren't building off of it, they
Referencing it,
they
or-
were moving away from it, but you can't even understand their movement away from it without understanding it,
Right.
right? You know, and so it's foundational. Yeah. So when we read Kierkegaard, like
I love him.
Like Du Bois references Esther. He sees himself as Esther, right? Who goes before the king, and if I die, I die. Well, if you don't understand the story of Esther, then you don't understand that, right?
Yeah.
If you don't, when you read Kierkegaard, and he's always referencing Abraham, or he's referencing this story over here, the story of Jephthah from the book of the Judges. Gilgamesh has a flood in it. Utnapishtim survives the flood. So then we read about Noah's flood, and then the parallels, and then also the differences between them. So, I mean, it's intrinsically important. And if you don't get it, then we don't get why we are the way we are with our view of the world, because we're living at a tension between Jerusalem and Athens, right? And that's a tension that kind of that's brought forward.
And we're heavy Athens, would you say? This culture?
Oh, no. No, I don't think so.
Okay, do a little lesson. How come?
I think that.
Are we heavy Jerusalem?
No. We've moved away entirely.
Yeah.
We've tried to dig a hole at the foundation of Western society and created just like a giant gap, right? I think that's one of the, like Nietzsche. Nietzsche dug a hole through the bottom of Plato's cave,
right,
and then realized there's nothing underneath. We need to come back up a little bit, right? But we're still trying to figure that out. I think if anything, we've kind of moved away from philosophy entirely, in the pursuit of like an individualism. And so
that doesn't have, individualism has no basis in philosophy or foundation in it?
No, it does.
Oh,
it does. But in the pursuit of we've forsaken the concept of like the universal good, which I think you would find if you delved into Greek philosophy.
Yes.
And we've exchanged it for like a personal good. And it's not necessarily even a personal good that's founded in any kind of like philosophic vision, more as it's founded in like a hedonistic vision.
Wow. 12th graders.
Yeah.
From inner city Hayward.
They can get it.
Oh, for sure they can get it.
I mean, they won't get all of it.
No.
But
who does?
They'll remember it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it must influence the trajectory of their decisions.
I hope so. I mean, we talk about a lot of real world stuff in my class.
Sure.
Yeah.
All year they take the class?
All year.
Same students?
Yep.
6 periods?
Yeah.
Five
5
periods. Yeah. So then you leave that world and you head onto a football field.
Yeah.
And what's that about? What do you find there?
Football is to my mind the single greatest game for teaching young men how to subsume their individual desires for the good of the whole, right? Because in football, I'm asking you to sacrifice yourself, and you may gain no glory from it, right? The person that makes the winning block doesn't get noticed. The person that runs the ball in does,
right?
And that's like, on defense, you may control your gap 25 plays a game and make one tackle, but if you don't control your gap on one play, you may miss the tackle that causes the touchdown.
That loses the game.
I'm asking you to sacrifice
for no glory.
For no glory. For
the sake of the team.
For the sake of the team. For the good of us all, which ends up being your good too. Right?
Yeah.
And so the same concepts apply, and football is just a great way for me to reach kids that I couldn't reach in the classroom, and to give them opportunities and pull kids in and get kids that aren't interested in school but interested in sports, teach them how to succeed in life, and just give them all the tools.
And you've done a great work getting kids into college, yeah?
We've done a pretty good job.
Yeah.
We put, I think, in the past 8 or 9 years, we put 11 or 12 kids on scholarship.
Yeah, for full ride.
For football, yeah.
And then many of the kids go on to college.
Yes, a large number of my players. I don't know the exact numbers. I don't keep track of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, a lot of them go to 2-year colleges or 4-year colleges, and even if the consistent theme I find is that most of them know how to work. They know how to show up on time. They know how to do a good job. They know right from wrong. They know how to listen to authority and respect it.
Yeah.
And they know how to work with other people in a group.
Man.
It's really important.
And then you go home to 4 kids.
4 kids.
A half a mile up the street.
Half a mile up the street.
And all the players know where you live?
Oh, yeah. I have them in my house. I have I have players babysit and stop by and random times.
How much did the Samoan kid weigh that was watching your babies? What was that about?
Which one?
You were telling the story one time. I was dying.
Yeah. I mean,
These are high school.
I learned an important lesson though.
What?
You don't hand out folding chairs to Samoans when they're throwing a party. Okay, because I got them back, and only about half of them didn't work anymore. If you know what I'm saying. Like I went to go sit down, and one and just broke underneath me. So
there you go.
Yeah, it's an important thing.
It's a beautiful, beautiful thing to see. It's peculiar. And it's fantastic. And the fruit I see from it in the community, and even the joy in some kid's face I just met coming in off the parking lot, just really, there's a respect. I can see that there's a culture here.
Yeah.
Just him leaving the locker room.
Yeah.
And these three young men he was athlete of the year?
He was, it was Reggie you met. He was the offensive player of the year.
Yeah.
For the league. And then there were two freshmen with him. So yeah,
right,
yeah,
right. Really good nature, respectful,
great kids,
great kids,
great kids. Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, I haven't met too many bad kids here at Hayward.
No,
there's been a couple that are pretty rough, but for the most part, I mean, because I think two things. Number one, I've developed a rapport and a reputation over the 9 years. They know who I am. They know what I'm about. And then number two, they all know I live here. So like,
you're committed.
Yeah, I want them to succeed because their success is my community's success, and their failure is my community's failure.
Right.
No one else's.
Right.
Yeah.
Now you played football.
I did.
Where?
In college at Wake Forest University, and then before that in Ridgefield, Connecticut, and before that in youth football in Southern California.
Football your whole life?
No, I only played 2 years before high school.
Really?
Basketball was the game my whole life. But
wow.
But I made a good decision, Mark. You know how I know?
How?
Because I was a center. And when I got to Wake Forest, the center was like 7'1". I was like, oh, you're a center. Okay. And I was like head face eye to eye with this guy. And I was like, what position do you play? He's like, oh, I'm the point guard. I was like, no, well, there you go. Good choices, Justin. Good choices.
And Jack, when he left here, had opportunities to go full ride baseball, basketball, or football.
Yeah,
and he chose football. Everybody was like, what?
Jack Del Rio and I are not in the same athletic class.
Yeah, but it's an amazing decision that young athletes have to make sometimes.
Sure. Yeah. It happens all the time.
With great consequences.
Yeah.
Repercussions, good and bad.
Good and bad.
Yeah. Unbelievable. Now you live, this is another thing that's just like really counterculture. You mentioned everybody's leaving, going into suburbia. You
should, sometime for these podcasts, you should break out the yearbooks and just watch the demographic shift from 1950 to 2010.
It shifted, but in when I was here, it was pretty, there was no Asian.
Yeah.
Highly Portuguese, Hispanic, African American, and white. And I would say it was 25, 25, 25, 25. I could be wrong on that.
Yeah,
that's what it felt like. That's the groups that I ran in.
But if you look at if you go back and look at like the 40s, the 50s,
all
the
white.
60s, the 70s, and then it's just you can watch the demographic change just entirely.
For sure.
It's fascinating.
It is. And it's all over the planet.
Oh yeah.
Demographics are changing and always have been, always will be.
Always.
But you and your wife chose to park yourselves right here.
Yeah.
Why?
I mean, we felt called. I felt God call us to Hayward to help be a light in the community. That was the initial thought. And then I realized that like this community has been here long before I got here, and I'm a steward. And the reason we moved here is because we wanted to be in this place. We wanted to be rooted in this place. We didn't want to have this sense of
commuter.
Yeah, not even a commuter, but like, when you know a community like this and you live in you become part of it. It's not a place you work.
Right.
It's part of like your life.
Yeah.
Right. So my kids play soccer with some of my players' brothers and sisters, and my coaches' kids and my kids go to school together, play basketball together. We go to the same church together, right? There's all this kind of stuff that's kind of happening that's creates a synchronicity. Yeah.
And a huge what's that communicate? I can't have a word in my head. It's not coming into my head. It communicates commitment. It communicates value.
Solidarity.
Because you could live anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
And teach anywhere.
Well, we were living in Brentwood. We sold our house in Brentwood to come here. It was a terrible decision. Economically.
For sure.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. And did your wife cry?
No, my wife's awesome.
All in.
Yeah, she's 100% on board for the gospel and more than that.
Gospel being, we like to define terms here because we've got a lot of people that aren't
sure
coming from a Christian background. Good news.
Yeah. Yeah, she's 100% on board with
Yeah.
the message that
Bringing
that
goodness.
Jesus loves everyone,
everyone.
and came for everyone,
Yeah.
and not exclusive to a community
teach us how to
or
live.
a culture or a skin
Right.
color or a socioeconomic
Yeah.
subgroup,
Yeah.
but that he came for everyone, and like it's our call as ones who love him to go wherever he wants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to love people.
And to love people.
See, that's the key.
Yeah.
You're not talking good news. You're our good news.
Well, you're living it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's why we moved in.
Yeah. That's an amazing thing.
Incarnate, right? That's the incarnation.
That's the incarnation.
It's take on flesh,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's to become one with the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow. To become one with the thing, incarnate. That brother is becoming one with a community and his, like he says, calling and his vision on what a good, honest, honorable, impactful life looks like. I don't know about you, but to become one with the thing, when he said that, it rang true in my life when I've stepped out in endeavors, business development, relationship endeavors. You become one with the thing. It's all you think about. With that comes a price, always. Next week, part 2, you'll see what that becoming one with the thing led to. And so I hope you tune back in again, subscribe and like it, whether you're on YouTube or whether you're on iTunes. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next week for part 2.
When you've been dealt a really bad hand, I know someone, boy, who will understand. Hot rods of pain and of glory, roller coasters and a final love story. But that